G'day guys, Nick here from Cpap Reviews. It's great to be with you again. Today I'm going to be showing you how easy it is to set up and use the new Luna G3 from BMC, which has just arrived here in Australia only a couple of months ago. We're going to be going through the new user interface, and I'm going to be teaching you how to change some of those important patient settings so you can not only get the best out of your machine, but also get the best night's sleep possible. Now guys, before we begin, I really just want to reiterate one important point, which is if you are looking to buy a G3 or any BMC product for that matter, that you buy it from a legitimate, reputable business that has an ABN and also physical shop front locations. There are just so many dodgy online operators selling these products out of their garage, out of a spare room in their house, and believe me, you do not want to get stung from buying one from one of these dodgy operators. So do your research, avoid places like Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree where all these shady guys lurk, and buy it from a proper business. That way, not only are you going to get great after sales support for as long as you have the machine, which will be a long time, but also if you do need to make a warranty claim, you can be sure that that business is around to honor that warranty claim. Otherwise, if you bought it from the garage operator, he might have moved house and you might be stuck. All right, but enough of that. Let's get started. Let's delve in. I'm going to show you how to use it, and I'm going to go through the patient settings so you can get the best night's sleep possible with your new G3. Cheers. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is put in the power supply. Very simple, I know, but I'm going to show you everything. So power supply just in the back here. All right, guys, so once we've got power to the machine, it's time to connect the new integrated heated tube system. To do so, grab the end that has the small grey cable attached and plug it into the back of the machine. Then plug in the grey cable, which will give the tube power. It's important when removing the tube that you do so holding the firm grey plastic parts of the tubing. Now that you've attached the tubing, it's time to fill up the humidification chamber. To do so, push down on the chamber to release it from the actual machine and pull upwards. From there, we can open the chamber and fill it with water. Be careful not to fill it over the max line. Once the chamber is filled, we can close the lid and return the chamber to the heater plate. Push down firmly till you hear the click. We can then put on our Cpap mask and attach the other end of the tubing to the Cpap mask. We're then going to run a mask seal test, which is going to make sure that our mask is fitted correctly before we start operation. Once we have our mask on and tubing attached, if we start breathing deeply, the machine will sense that we have the mask on and start delivering the positive airway pressure automatically. We can also start and stop the machine by pressing the big black button on the very top of the device. To stop the therapy, we can either just take our mask off and the machine will stop automatically, or we can press the big black button again, which will stop the therapy. It's that simple. Alrighty, let's have a look at the patient settings. So just rotate the dial so the screen's there, and you can see as I rotate this click dial that it's going between the different icons. And then to enter an icon, such as mask, we just click in the middle of the click wheel and it'll enter that icon. To get out of an icon, we just click the home button and it takes us to the home screen. All right, let's run through the different icons. So at first here, you can see it says preheat. This is if we want to preheat the humidifier over here. So if you're going to bed in 30 minutes time, you can fill it up with water, click that button in and it will preheat the water chamber so that when you go to bed, you're going to get instant humidification. The alternative is if you don't preheat it, it might take about 30 minutes before you start getting humidification from the device itself. Moving to accessories, this is where we have our accessories reminders, which we can set in the settings. So you can see here, we've got the air filter reminder, tubing, and mask reminder, and we can reset these as well. And you can set these up in the settings, which I'll show you in a second. So we'll just get out of that for starters. Next, we can choose what mask we're using. So if we click that in there, we've got mask type. So we can choose the mask type that we're using, whether it be a full face mask, nasal mask, pillow mask, or maybe a hybrid mask. And you can choose whatever one you want. Just click it in. And we can also run our mask fitting test, which I did at the start of the video. What this will do is once you have your mask on, if you click this, the machine will run through a variety of pressures just to make sure that your mask is fit correctly and that you're not going to get too many leaks throughout the night. Moving on, if we go to report, you can see here we have usage summary, which is what, if we click that, it'll show all the data on the screen. Then we go across, we have our IQ or QR code. This is what we use if we've got the BM Cares app. And then the other one is iCode, and iCodes can be entered into a browser. So just anywhere on the internet, anywhere you've got the internet, you can open up a specific URL and then you can enter those codes. So the easiest obviously is just checking it out on the device itself, which is very simple. So we go to usage summary, click it in, and then up the top here, you can see it says 1 day, 7 days, 30 days. So we can choose the time frame that we want to look at. I suggest always looking at sort of 7 to 30 days is probably the best. So this is going to be the last 7 days or last 30 days usage. So we can click 7 days in there, and normally it will come up with all your data. And I'll just run through quickly. So usage is how many days you used it out of those last 7 days. So you might have not used it on the weekend and have only used it 5 days. The next one is number of days you've used it over 4 hours. So say we used it 5 days, but only 3 of those days we used it actually over 4 hours. The average daily used time, so average up all those daily times and average them out, you'll get that number. The use time, so the total time used for those days, so all added up. The average treatment pressure, so out of all the pressures throughout that whole time, you remember it's an automatic, it will adjust the pressure between different levels throughout the night. This will give you the average pressure over those 7 days, so it might be 9, it might be 10, but it'll give you the average. The P95 pressure, this is the number required to control 95%. That's the P95 percentile at that number or below. So I'll give you an example with this because I always struggle to sort of explain it. But let's just say that number is 10. That means in order to control 95% of your sleep apnea, the machine was delivering 10 centimeters or below. Okay, so it gives you an idea as to sort of what the machine's doing, but don't get too concerned about it. The AHI, that's the holy grail of apnea indexes. So that's the apnea hypopnea index. It's basically a data set that tells you how many apneas or hypopneas you are having per hour. Okay, and we ideally would like that less than 5, which is considered normal. 5 to 10. 5 to 15 is considered mild, 15 to 30 moderate sleep apnea, 30 plus severe sleep apnea. So it does depend on your scenario and where you're coming from in terms of how severe your sleep apnea is to begin with. But if you can get it sort of down between sort of less than 5, great. If it's sort of between 5 and 10, I wouldn't be stressing about it too much. But you can always fiddle around with settings to make improvements. So this just keeps going to sleep on me. So the difference between an apnea and a hypopnea is there's different criteria, but an apnea is normally 90% obstruction airway or more, and hypopnea can be somewhere, depending on the metrics, 30 to 50% reduction. But essentially what it means is your airway is getting restricted to a point where it's affecting your blood oxygen levels and hence waking you up and causing all those nasty side effects like sleepiness, bad mood, all the rest. Okay, but that's a bit of a rundown for you there. So we can go back home from that. I'm going to click home again. Then we can go to just our general patient settings, click that. First one is the humidifier. So this is the humidifier over this side on the right here, and that's controlling the heater plate. So at the moment it's set to auto, so the heater plate will be heating automatically depending on the ambient temperature and humidity in the room. So it's going to automatically adjust that, but you can change it to manual mode if we click that down, and then you can run it between 1 and 5. So the higher we go up in that number, the more moisture we're going to create in the air. That heater plate's going to heat that water more, turn it to vapor, and hence create more humidity. And humidity, for those that don't know, is used to alleviate congestion, alleviate mouth dryness, throat dryness, and it just tends to open up the airways a bit more as well. But there's humidity naturally in the air that varies every day. So this machine's now kind of a bit smarter. It can monitor that and it can adjust the level automatically depending on the temperature and ambient humidity, which is constantly changing throughout the night. I'll keep on moving, so we'll keep that auto for now. If we changed it to say 4, you can see then it's got heated tubing, and we can then turn on the level of heated tubing. So we get more manual, and this now is controlling how hot the copper coil gets running through the tubing to warm it up, okay? My suggestion for you is probably to start it on auto, just to see how you find auto. If there's something you're not liking, if you feel like maybe you're too dry, still in the throat, maybe go turn off auto and start playing around with the manual controls. Okay, moving on. Ramp time, you don't have to worry too much about that because most of you will be running it in automatic mode. If you're running it in fixed pressure mode, so you've got that in Cpap mode, then a ramp time will ramp up from the base pressure up to your set pressure over whatever minutes this is. So once again, an example, if you've got a set pressure of 10 centimeters pressure, and you've got a ramp at 10 minutes, it'll ramp up from low level 4 and go 4.1, 4.2, all the way up to 10 over 10 minutes to help you get off to sleep. Moving forward, then we've got the accessory reminders, so we can set when we want to be reminded. So for example, air filter, every 60 days, it'll remind us to change our air filter and so forth. Tubing, mask. The main thing is probably with the filter, that's probably the one you want to change the most. And probably 30 days is probably ideal to have a look at that. The more you change it, the better your machine's going to be over the long run. Less dust is going to get into it, and obviously less allergens and things that are going to get into your airway. Tubing, you can sort of just monitor the tubing yourself. Just keep an eye out for any sort of, stretchiness or if there's any holes sort of in it. And same with your mask. Generally, your mask seal and your mask headgear every sort of 4 to 6 months, I recommend. Some people recommend less than that, but I don't want to stretch your budget too far. Moving on, so press home. We've got a delay which we can put on. What the delay does, it just runs some air through the tubing when you finish, just to sort of dry it all out. So you can have that on. Most people sort of have that on. You sort of turn it on, but it's up to you. Brightness of the screen. This is what's annoying me now with that screen that keeps turning off all the time. But most people have this off so that when you're in bed, obviously it just turns off quickly. Auto backlit. Don't worry about Wi-Fi, that'll always be connected. And then you've got your date, time, date format, time format, language, use, time, and a bit about the machine, sort of your serial number and firmware version, so forth. Oh, all right. So that's pretty much it there. Look, I'm not going to do the clinical settings in this video because it's already a long video, but I will do a follow-up video talking about how you change these components, which is what we call the clinical settings. So that's really fine-tuning machine to really get it working super economical and really treating your sleep apnea super well. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have found it useful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will put a link in the description of the video of where you can pick up the G3 from a legitimate, reputable business that does have physical shops. And if you put my name in the description, you are going to get a little discount just to say thank you for watching the video. Anyway, all the best with your sleep apnea. Hope you're getting a good night's sleep, and thanks for watching. Cheers.